Cultural Challenges in Global Enterprise Integrations. By Alberto Hernandez. Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. MMIS 561. October 7, 2018. Agenda. Introduction. Philosophical approach. Assumptions. What are the problems? Methodology. Data, by the numbers. Recommendations. Summary. References. Introduction. Social and culture differ greatly throughout the globe. The examination of these differences and commonalities may provide focus. Cultural misunderstandings can interfere with operation meets its goals. Training and sensitivity to our different cultures enhance a company's global business footprint. Culture has many definitions based on the framework of their personal cultural environment and how they see other cultures. Introduction continued. If we are to maximize the footprint of the company outside of the borders, we need to understand the complexities of a culture and the globalization of the company. Multicultural integration has occurred since the beginning of time. In recent years that number has increased dramatically due to information technology (IT) and the improvement of transportation systems. Philosophical approach. IT and entrepreneurship has developed systems to integrate cultural training, almost an assimilation of culture to allow a company or enterprise to develop in those parts of the world. There are some that argue that multiculturalism is leaning towards homogenization, creating a single culture. Creating a sameness only benefits major countries. This allows larger countries to create a monocultural society. Philosophical approach continued integrate cultural training almost an assimilation of culture to allow a company or enterprise to develop in those parts of the world. McDonald's, Subway, KFC. These were the pioneers in taking American fast food to different parts of the world and allowing these countries to see a little bit of the US market. Philosophical approach continued. The cultural philosophy has a considerable impact on how the culture does business. Chinese philosophy values trustworthiness, thriftiness, endurance, and Confucius. Group dynamics of a culture creates a significant impact on how cultures are perceived. Individualistic culture of the United States. Familial culture of Indians. Assumptions. Assumptions on other cultures without doing any research will not go well for those that are making the assumption. French are very particular snooty about the cutlery and their use. So they were not very happy when Disney used plastic utensils. Disneyland Paris. The French also enjoy a glass of wine with their meal and that was not offered. Assumptions cannot be made based on geopolitical or a general cultural bias. Assumptions continued. Glocalization. Tailors that companies' branding and corporate values to the localized culture and not the other way around. Pirrotti-Hummel, 2012. Not the physical connectivity but communication and interaction within that connection is as important to create that bond and achieve the goals of integration. Deloitte, 2009. What are the problems? Challenges of communicating through cultural differences and social-economical divides. Understand the integration of different cultures into a business solution and managing those diversities. Companies operating in multiple countries, which cross geographical boundaries, can these diversities be maintained and yet develop a cohesive work environment? What are the problems? Continued. The globalization of cultures needs a champion within the company that can speak to the leadership or be part of the leadership team. What are the cultural differences that exist across the different continents as well as the cultural differences within those countries' borders? Methodology. The researcher's process included the collection of the necessary information from the literature review and data needed to support the decision based on cultural integration and the differences created by borders and cultural divides. Methodology continued. The researcher included in the annotated bibliography that may include survey, interviews and articles based on multicultural integration. created a research project which the researcher verified the data by using statistical analysis techniques, which provided a systemic and controlled research document. Data, by the numbers. Exhibit 1. Data, by the numbers continued based on the Exhibit 1. Cultural and behavioral challenges are the biggest detractor in the integration of cultures into an enterprise. Risk aversion has been a long-standing obstacle in moving forward for many companies looking to step out of your comfort zone. Notably, detractors are misunderstanding of the digital age as well as the development of IT infrastructures to support the globalization of the company in less commercial areas of the globe. Smaller companies lack the capital to invest in IT infrastructure, and the cultural challenges to move their enterprise globally tend not to grow. Data, by the numbers continued quantitative analysis provided the tangible and qualitative responses to questions that are specific and are supported by the qualitative analysis. Provide leadership with a quality analytical representation and not a poorly designed representation of the cultural diversity within the company. Exhibit 2 - Strengths, Weaknesses, Opportunities and Threats (SWOT). Analysis will help any company understand the market they are trying to start or venture. This will help the company create a visual representation of what some of the company's strengths, which can overcome the weaknesses and possibly find opportunities that can be explored. Mitigate some of the threats that are inherently there when you step outside of your business environment. Data, by the numbers continued SWOT analysis. Exhibit 2. Recommendations. Identify the markers of the President or Steering Committee. Decision-making and integrating these decisions which affect the culture have to be championed by those in leadership. Create multicultural connectivity, which provides sensation of being close to each other. Long-term cultural integration is important to the success of a multinational and cross-cultural company. Increase cultural knowledge and language skills throughout teams. Summary. The steering committee need to understand the cultural scene, understands the challenges that face a corporation or government that wants to do business across cultures and borders. It has to accept changes and its cultural understanding and integration. Summary continued. These companies need to quantify the numbers, focus on multicultural connectivity, and collaborating with the correct company abroad will help achieve a more integrated global marketplace. The global economic future depends on the open market sharing of information through many different modes that will benefit all.